Do you ever spend hours rigorously going over situations that have never happened and probably never will happen, but you just wonder how people will look at you and what they'll think about you if you did certain things, if you did something one way versus if you did it another way? We all care what other people think, that we can all agree on that. But for me, I knew I had a problem, not necessarily a problem, but I knew I had to do something about it. When a couple of weeks ago, I spent literally like an hour. I looked at the time, it was like 4 p.m. And by the time I finished just pacing back and forth in my room, it was about 5. And I was like, geez, I just wasted an hour busy going over situations that would probably never happen. And just to give you like some context, it's a little bit embarrassing, but I'm just going to tell you anyways. I imagine what it would be like in the future if I was on like holiday with my girlfriend, right? And what people think about me when I was walking down, when you walk past people and whether you say hi or not, whether you make eye contact or not. I was just wondering, like, what would people think? Okay, if my girlfriend was white versus if she was black, or if I was dressed a certain way versus if I was dressed, more relaxed, or whatever it was. And I looked back and I was like, bro, this is actually ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, because I was like, I just wasted an hour going over situations I probably will never have to worry about anyways. People are going about their day. They don't really care about you. They care about their own thing. And that's when I just decided to just journal and just go through my thoughts. I was like, dude, I cannot keep doing this, because I've been doing this for years, just wasting time, just thinking about random stuff that will probably never happen. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but you've clicked on this video, so you probably can relate to it somewhat. So I'm just going to tell you like the sort of thinking points that I got to when I was journaling in my journaling session. And the first thing I thought about, which I've heard before from other people, is you need to find something else to care about. If you don't want to care about what other people think, you need to find something that consumes your mind, that you care about, that you're not going to spend time worrying about other things when you've got something that completely consumes your mind, right? That's the first thing you need to do. You need to find something you care about. Your purpose, whatever it is, you're on self-improvement. I'm sure you've got things you've got goals you want to achieve. You know what you need to do. If you just find something proper that you can care about and you can focus on, you won't really care what other people think. And another thing that I've noticed is very flipping effective is, have you ever noticed, I'm sure you've noticed this, whenever you go out, if you go out by yourself or you just like in certain situations by yourself, you're way less confident than if you were to go out with like your boys. Right? If you go out with your group of friends, everything is you're way more carefree, right? You got like 5 of your boys around you, and maybe you're being a little bit loud, or maybe you're laughing about something. You don't care what other people think, because you're with my boy. I'm with my boys. I don't care. I really don't care. And I know that's kind of difficult to incorporate into your life, because you're not always going to be with your boys, but it's something you can sort of use to help yourself not care about what other people think. Maybe you're like me and you don't really have a crew like that, but it's something you really want. Maybe going back to like the first point that I spoke about finding something to care about, maybe that can be your thing. You can make it like your purpose for like the next couple of months or years or whatever it is, to find like a group like that, a group of like-minded guys. I know that's definitely for me one of my biggest goals. And then you're hanging out with those guys like a lot. It just helps like not care. And in the interim, before you've met them or whatever it is, whenever you're walking around or whatever it is you're doing, just imagine you're with your boys, right? And all of a sudden you don't really care, right? And that takes me to like my third point. I guess this is kind of like a list. My third point is that you need to realize that other people don't really matter that much, right? If you're someone that, especially if you want to become like a high value man, you want to have goals and like you want to build yourself a certain life, just imagine like those stereotypical like rich people, right? They have like, okay, they have their friends and family, and like a couple of business associates or whatever it is, but apart from that, it's kind of like a closed circle, right? They don't really care about everyone else. When they're walking out and they're parking their Aston and they're walking out and people are looking, they don't really care about those people, because in their brains they look at them as like peasants or whatever it is. And it's a little bit arrogant, it's a little bit like it's not nice, but that's one of the things you actually need to do to stop caring about what other people think, is you need to have a bit more arrogance about yourself, right? You need to be like, okay, I have like a close circle. You need to feel like that. You need to walk around with like a little bit of swag, bro. Like you need to like create like a close circle. You need to be like, okay, I've got like a close circle. Like obviously right now maybe you don't have like that crew, but you want to find the crew of like people who are like on the same level as you. Obviously you want to like go up. I know for me, definitely, like I want to like level up a lot, and I want guys who are on that level as well. So now that's something to aim towards. But once I'm there, I'm like, dude, my time is worth a lot. I only want to hang out with people that I find interesting, people who are on my level, right? So the only people in my life who will matter, like I'm imagining when I'm like a father and everything, would just be like my wife, my kids, my friends and their families, and then my extended family and my other friends, or like business associates, and that's it. I'm not going to be walking down the street looking at this random guy thinking, I wonder what he thinks of me. I wonder what he thinks of what I'm wearing. I wonder what he thinks of my wife. Like, I'm not going to care about that. And I think that's something you can really like try to like incorporate. Be like, have a little bit of swagger about yourself. Like, think about, again, I kind of like went on a tangent, but think about like back in like primary school, right? Or if you're out of high school, think about back in like high school. The people you were worried about, you were like, oh, you'd go to school, you were wondering if your hair looks a little bit messy or whatever it is. Where are they now? Like, I think about a lot of people from primary school, even from high school. Like, I'm only like about I'm like 3 years out of high school. There's a lot of people I do not talk to, I do not care about, but at that moment I cared what they thought. And I'm standing here like 20 years old, I'm like, I don't really care about those people. Like, they're not in my life anymore. I spent all those years worrying what they thought of me, but they're not in my life anymore. And when you think about it that way, it releases a lot of pressure from yourself, because it's like most of the people who you care about, or you care about what they think, you're never going to meet those people again. And when you put it in that way, it seems quite ridiculous that you care about what other people think. So just to like give you like a bit of a summary of about this video is, you need to find something to care about. Okay, you need to realize that people don't matter, and you need to find a way to cultivate a crew for yourself, a crew of people who are like-minded. You find your boys who are like-minded, and you guys are going for the goals, for the same goals, or just similar goals. You're all like on the same level of life. Like, you look at them and you're like, I want to be friends with that guy. You want to build yourself a crew of those kind of people. Then it makes it easier to not care about what other people think. And then you need to realize that other people really don't matter that much. You care about what other people think. First of all, they're probably not even thinking about you. They're worried about how they look. They're wondering about what you think of them, right? But even apart from that, even if they were judging you or whatever it was, you're not going to see them again. Or even if you are seeing them every day when you go to school or whatever, dude, in like 10 years, they're not going to matter. When you're on your deathbed, they're not going to matter. So don't worry about all of that. And yeah, that's the video, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe to join the Self-Improvement Brotherhood. You can also join my Discord community, speaking about like building yourself like a close circle of like-minded friends. You can join the Discord community. You can make friends there that are like-minded. Until next time, I'll see you boys.